Live.
All right, now we're really live.
Now we're really live.
Awesome.
So we had a little snafu Monday, so we're past that.
I was chasing bad guys.
You had an exciting thing.
I was chasing bad guys. It's not as exciting as it sounds, but yeah, I was chasing bad guys till about. I think I got off about 8:30 that night. It happens.
Yeah.
Not too often, but sometimes when you kind of say it like this, when you get a lead and you got to keep following it and you think you're about to catch somebody, you just got to keep going and keep going and keep going until you play it out. And then if you don't, we still got some good information, so it worked out pretty good. We're still working on it, but yeah, every once in a while it snags you, and you just got to stay till you follow the string.
Dude, but that's the only time it's happened. That's the first time that's
to
happened
us.
to
Yeah,
us.
it's happened to me multiple times at work, but it's the first time it happened to us when we had a. Usually they're kicking me out at 4:00.
Yeah.
They're like, get the hell out, no overtime.
They don't like overtime, man.
No, they don't like overtime.
Dude, they don't like that crap at all.
No.
Shit. Okay, so dude, Sam was on.
Yes, it was hilarious.
So next time he comes, it's all of us.
I can't
Holy
wait.
shit.
I want to hit him with so much stuff. Like, I'm going to pull out so many things he said, and I have questions.
Oh man, it's hilarious.
He's a funny guy.
He's just, it's over
And I've
the
seen
top.
him at the gym like a million times. And I actually, I was looking for him today. I didn't see him there.
Well, because we're gonna go over there after this.
Oh, that's right. You got
And
that
then
thing.
we'll talk-
so
he
that's
went-
cool. Tell him I said hi, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to talking to him, man.
That's gonna be fun,
He
man.
seems a riot.
He is a riot.
Yeah.
And it's that's him. That's like there's no anything.
Yeah.
If anything, the first probably 10 minutes that was a toned down version. Of
Well,
him.
you described him as the Joey Diaz. Like
Yeah.
Dude, you nailed it. Like
He
he literally,
is.
that's what he reminded me of immediately. I was like, damn, he's right.
with the
That's
accent,
a big,
with
and
the
that's a
thing.
big, that's a high standard to live up to. It's some big shoes
Oh yeah.
to throw on him. And man, he filled them. I thought he was absolutely hilarious.
I don't even think he knows who Joey Diaz is. I tried to
I
tell him,
totally believe he doesn't know
but that is him. The
God
everything, the personality, this, and when he gets angry,
what he's talking about.
it's hilarious.
His
So
mannerisms. Yeah.
you guys jump over and watch that. It's awesome.
It's a great,
And,
it's a great podcast.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it'll be more
I
fun.
enjoyed
when it's the
listening to
three
it
of
for
us.
sure.
Shit, I'm telling you, mother. Okay, so we didn't get to go over the UFC
227.
227.
So good. It's
Yeah,
227.
227. I was
So
like,
good.
I've been watching so many other previews now. I'm
So
like,
good.
dude, that was awesome. So we have to hit this one first because we had different perspectives, and then so I posted stats that it's like some following things, and then there was a broad range of what I'm gonna call 50-50 down the freaking middle about what people thought about that fight.
To my Cejudo and Mighty Mouse.
Cejudo and
So
Mighty
can
Mouse.
I give myself a little pat on the back?
You called it.
I called that fight for
think
Cejudo.
I think you called it by decision.
I don't even know if I went that far. I think what I
think you
said
did,
was
'cause I went back and tried to look,
I
but
think
yeah.
what I said was Mighty Mouse is due for a loss,
Yeah.
and I felt like Cejudo was hungry.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about that, like
Yeah.
that fight, the hunger in the fighter, and
Yeah.
it's been so long since Mighty Mouse lost a fight. I just felt like I'm not saying that Cejudo's the better fighter, but I felt like he was going to win this fight.
You did.
I really felt like
And I'll say this: you didn't say. Let me go back. I'll be very clear. You didn't say it would go to decision, but you felt like the greatest chance of Cejudo winning is if it.
Oh,
went
I
to
didn't think he
decision.
would finish him.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. I remember what I said, but I don't. I'm just off the top of my head. I don't think I would have said
He'd
to
finish him.
finish Mighty Mouse because he's so tough.
No. Yeah.
But I felt like, and I brought up his wrestling. I felt like that was going to be the key. He could out wrestle him. I felt like he was going to out wrestle him and win by that way.
So I was just like,
Dude, I was
and so
freaking
me
out.
is here's why I'm gonna preface why I feel the way I feel. Okay, because I'm gonna use boxing. I'm gonna refer to boxing. And I'm gonna refer to Mayweather. Okay, I respect the way Mayweather fights. I hate that kind of a fight. I hate it with a passion. It's just not my style. I get it, and it's not like I'm hating on him. It's just that style of defensive encounter, and you're not running, but you're moving away constantly, forcing the other person to advance, so your game works. And in Mayweather's defense, he had a great career. He didn't get banged up. He seems as good as he can be today as compared to he was 10 years ago and all that kind of stuff. So his brain seems fine, and he didn't take a lot of damage and all that stuff. But I just don't like that style of fight. But I've been forced to swallow that and accept that in the world of fighting. I mean, I see it in Thai fighting, I see it in jiu-jitsu, I see it in all of it, right? Everything. Jiu-jitsu and wrestling a little different because it's just you're already on top of each other constantly. But so that's my preface to this. So I thought Mighty Mouse won. I thought Demetrius Johnson won the fight because of his striking and the percentage of hits and all that. So that was my deal. I feel like, and now this is my old school instrument. I've shared this with you. I said, if you're gonna beat the champ, you gotta fucking take it to the champ. Like it's a 50-50 fight. To me, champ always wins because it's your job to take it, not necessarily the job of the champ to dominate. Like he's already there. He's there. You got to come get it. And so that's my kind of perspective. So then when I broke down the stats, and then I'll flip it over to you, it was Mighty Mouse threw more punches, landed twice the percentage of punches, landed over twice the percentage of significant strikes, and then when you Cejudo's deal is takedowns, so he attempted 15 takedowns in the fight. The way they scored it. Now you could say some were more and some were less. You could argue that.
Cejudo attempted 15.
Cejudo attempted 15 takedowns. He had, I have to look, 5 successes, 5 successful takedowns, and all of those combined added to 3 minutes and 25 seconds out of a 25-minute fight. So then I was like, boy, he took him down. He didn't do anything when he took him down. No, I mean he had control. Wrong, he didn't do anything, but there was no damage caused when he was on the ground. Neither one of them, I think maybe Cejudo had a little bit of bruising, but basically neither one of them were banged up.
Right.
I feel safe saying that. And so I was like, you know what? Mighty Mouse should have won. Pre my Mayweather stuff,
right?
I'd have been like, screw that. He ran the whole fight. You're the fucking champ. Why are you running? Then introduce the whole Mayweather thing we had to deal with for 50 fights now. Really 49. Let's not count 50.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
You know,
that's a good
and
point.
I'm like, okay, well, if that's the standard, then that's the standard, because most of these judges are actually boxing judges.
Yeah,
you know that they utilize for UFC. They cross over. So I'm like, rules of the state. I get it, the whole thing. Then if that's the standard, then Demetrius wins. But now I'm like, well, shit. What's the standard now?
I don't know. So I'm not a professional judge. But
well, neither of us are.
But I've watched a lot of fights, and I'll tell you, when I was watching the fight, I felt like the first round could have gone either way, and I felt like Demetrius landed some significant strikes in the first round on the leg. He had some nice leg shots
on the legs. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that was where the leg shots kind of ended. But so the first round, I was like, I don't know, but I knew it was going to be a good fight at that point. Yeah. But from the second round on, I felt like it was Cejudo's fight, and the reason I say that is because I feel like Cejudo controlled the ring. When he landed takedowns, he controlled him on the ground. Here's the problem with Demetrius: you give him any and I'm looking at it from a mindset of a jiu-jitsu guy. So once you get him on the ground, space is everything. Yeah. Right. And this is kind of generally the way it works in jiu-jitsu. If you're on the bottom, space is your friend. If you're on top, space is your enemy. Cejudo was on top. And he knew space. It was a beautiful example of space is my enemy. Yeah. Staying as tight as possible, trying to get into a position to be able to land strikes or get into some type of dominant position where he could even attempt a submission. Yeah. But on Mighty Mouse, you're talking that's next to impossible. Yeah. As you could see.
I had to interrupt you 1 second.
No problem.
We got to stop.
Yo, is it time to kill it?
So, all right, guys. Everybody, let's jump over to JasonCPowell.com or YouTube.com/Jason C. Powell, and everything is live over there. So thank you guys. We'll see you over there.
What he said.
We have to do that because if you go over the minutes, then you gotta edit and everything. But
all right, so back to what I was talking about. So when I was watching as a jiu-jitsu, someone was coming from a jiu-jitsu background. When I saw him nail the takedowns, first of all, the first couple of takedowns, he was having a hard time nailing because Demetrius was Granby rolling out of him, getting right back to his feet, which showed you how explosive and difficult he is to keep on the ground. Right. But Cejudo kept, plugging away, and he started landing them, and then he started controlling Demetrius on the ground, which I thought was a big deal. Like he was implementing his game plan on Demetrius. Yeah. Demetrius was landing shots here and there, and Cejudo landed a couple of shots too. But I felt like Cejudo imposed his game plan on Demetrius. I don't feel like Demetrius imposed his game plan on Cejudo in that fight. So I felt like Cejudo controlled the fight. and he imposed his will on Demetrius.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. Second through the fifth round, I thought were Cejudo's rounds. I'd have to go back and watch again, but I felt like sec 2, 3, 4, and 5 were Cejudo's. At the end of the fifth round, I was watching with a couple friends, and I said, Cejudo won that fight. Cejudo won that fight. And I would have been shocked if they said Demetrius.
Yeah. At the end of the fourth, I had it 2-2.
Yeah.
The way, and again,
but it was a tight fight all the way through. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like Cejudo clearly, but what I'm saying is it felt like you kind of pointed out, Demetrius was not attacking. Demetrius was trying to avoid the takedowns, Cejudo just pressured him, chased him, takedown attempt, nailing him. I was very impressed. Never got tired. Neither one of these guys got tired.
No, they're both.
That was incredible.
I love
they
that.
fought at that pace for 5 rounds.
That should be the standard.
They fought at that pace for 5 rounds, and I think they could have gone a couple more, or maybe 5 more. Those guys that was an incredible display.
That was. Can we agree on that? That absolutely should be the standard for
100%.
UFC.
That right there should put that weight division on the map, because that weight division has been hurting, mostly because Demetrius has been owning it, and I've always been a fan of that division just because of the skill level of those guys. Those guys are so skilled and they're so explosive.
Oh, yeah.
But I think people like a little bit bigger guys. They like to see the heavier knockouts. They like to see the big guys slugging.
Yeah.
But hopefully that'll put that division maybe on the map a little more, because there's going to be some more fight, because Demetrius is obviously going to get a rematch. I think there's no doubt. Although there's the talk of the Dillashaw-Cejudo fight, but I think Dillashaw said you're going to have to retain that with Demetrius before I'll give it a shot, because Dillashaw wanted to fight Demetrius. He was down for that fight.
And Demetrius got an injury or something, right?
His foot's jacked up. I don't know. I mean, these guys. I don't know if it's like, so major. I mean, these guys are always so banged up after the fights anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Things pop up. But
so I feel like it's safe to say Cejudo's game plan was obvious. Like you could see it. And Demetrius, I couldn't determine what his plan was.
I don't think he got a chance to. Well, I think if you look at the first round, maybe he's going to try to take out Cejudo's legs so he would not be as capable of going for takedowns. It kind of looked like, because he was targeting the legs a lot.
And I think there was some success there.
There was. I think in the first round was a little bit of success, but then Cejudo shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's another reason why, in my opinion, you can see how Cejudo, because you can't even, like right now, what was his game plan?
Right.
Don't know, because he couldn't implement it, because Cejudo was all over him.
Yeah.
So, but we know what Cejudo's game plan was, and not like it was a shock. We knew going into the fight, this is the only way.
Yeah.
And man, anyway, it was.
So, so now I'm going to share a couple of comments that I had read on some of the threads across all of it, Twitter and Instagram. I mean, all of it, because I was looking everywhere. One thing that one guy had said, I think he was actually in Cejudo's camp. We'll pull it up later. That in exchanges, to paraphrase, is if you get somebody on the ground in a takedown and it don't accomplish anything, should that be scored the same in UFC and MMA as hugging and boxing?
No, because a boxing clinch is There's no comparison just to get a takedown is hard.
Yes, yeah,
it's very difficult.
Takedown is hard,
and to control it afterwards, these guys, because your opponent knows, get back up. That's when someone actually gets you taken down, in all grappling and MMA, all that, get back up, wrestling, whatever, just get back up. Like, I don't care what you do, just get back up to nullify it.
In that, so let's say it's not, so you get the takedown, so that's an accomplishment. If you're close to the end of the round, they look up, there's clocks everywhere, they know what's going on. So if the person that successfully had the takedown, accomplished the takedown, can't accomplish anything, and you're within a few seconds of the end of the fight, 30 seconds or less, and the other guy just chilling, like, it's not worth expending the energy to get up to throw 1 or 2 punches. You're not doing anything. You can't do anything. So I'm going to let you kind of hang out there. Is that really control?
It is control. And I'll tell you why, because this is mixed martial arts.
Right.
It's not boxing.
Yeah.
Mixed martial arts includes grappling.
Yeah.
And grappling includes if someone takes you down and gets on top of you, you get out of that position. If someone's in a dominant position on top of you, you have to escape that position.
Yeah.
And if you decide to chill out there, first of all, I don't have a lot of respect for you.
Right.
Because you're acting like a little bitch because it's hard to get out of that position. So, I'm just going to chill.
Yeah.
No.
And we know a lot.
So that's why.
I agree with
that's
you.
why I'm very much whatever that statement is. Totally disagree with it. If someone takes you down, you defend, you scramble, recover your guard, stand back up, start mounting an attack or mounting some type of defense. Which is what you saw Demetrius do. That's a very good example. He gets taken down.
Of the 5 takedowns, there was only one he didn't, and that was at the end of the second.
Well, but he's trying. Like you saw him. Boom. He's immediately everything's tight, and he's trying to strip. He's trying to. That's why Cejudo would be staying as tight as he could, trying to get to a dominant position. It's just so. I mean, he was in a dominant position, but trying to advance his position, and you saw Demetrius immediately. I'm going to get out of this position. That's what you're supposed to do, and. I don't know. Like, it's not clinching in boxing. In boxing, clinching is used as a rest. These guys get in, they clinch. If a guy's getting kind of tore up, he'll try to clinch for a minute, and you get a ref break it up. Like, it lasts a couple seconds. Clinching in MMA, when you clinch on the ground, there's a lot of energy being expended, usually by both guys. And honestly, if the guy on the bottom guy starts chilling too much, the guy on top is going to start advancing his position, and then that could be a big problem for the guy on the bottom. Depending on who's on top of him, but
because that was kind of mine, I was like, that's kind of an interesting perspective.
I just don't.
Is it? And now I've seen guys. These two know. I don't want to say these two guys are resting. They were conditioned. They were awesome. I have seen a lot of fights to where guys will use the ground to rest.
You see guys rest. You see guys rest.
It's almost like they're whispering to each other.
Let's just take a break.
Take 30
I'm
seconds,
sure. I wonder how much that happens. I think that sometimes you see it on the fence too. They'll get on the cage and you'll see them both just kind of. And that's when you see them. The ref will come in. Hey, got to fight, got to fight, and then they'll break him back out. But they'll do it on the ground too. If the ref catches him resting, he'll make him stand back up. You've seen they'll give him a warning and then make him stand back up.
They're doing better and better with that every fight.
They are doing better. So I don't think it compares, but I do. Yes, fighters find ways to rest. I mean, it's hard.
It's hard.
Fighting is really hard. It's an exhausting. I think
5-minute round is no joke.
It's an eternity. I think people who have never engaged in combat sports, they have look, guys come into our gym, triathletes. They can't last 2 minutes grappling. They can't do it. They're not. The conditioning for fighting in combat sports is it's a whole nother level. It's just
as soon as you put the component of reactionary into it, nothing is the same. Nothing crosses over. And nothing of all, even take all of my military training and all of those, nothing from that really equates into any ring or any octagon or any. You can't.
It's so unique.
You can't. Standard pad work has shit to do with you when you're in the ring. Or in the octagon, whichever the mats,
whatever it is, you're right. Combat sports is exhausting. That's why just training gets you in pretty good shape because you burn a ton of calories. It's hard. It's really difficult. If I've taken a little bit of time off when I jump back on the mat, like 2 weeks or a week or something for whatever reason, just that little bit of time, my body's like, whoa, I need a break. It's hard.
I know.
That's what makes it so fun.
And you get those triathletes who are awesomely conditioned, but you start disrupting their breathing pattern.
Well, everything is different. You're doing something that, and even we've had division, football athletes or whatever, we've had Division I athletes, we've had NFL athletes. They come in and it's different. It's hard. And another part of it is when you're not used to it, you don't know how to expend your energy properly. So you'll start dumping tons of strength and tons of energy when it's not efficient, and and here's the thing, man, that fatigue, fatigue's undefeated. When fatigue steps in, he wins every time.
And it's people are like, oh, well, you can recover, and like, you can't. Once you hit it, there's a level. It's almost like if you can stay at 60% and above, you can recover. The second you drop below that, you don't. You don't recover back to that 60%. You
can't.
I don't care.
That's what I try to tell cops when I'm training cops or talking to cops about training, because it's guys who don't train. It's like, man, you got to understand, once you feel fatigue hit to the point where you can't defend yourself against almost anybody, you know that feeling. You don't want that to happen to you on the street, and it'll happen to you fast on the street
faster probably.
Because your adrenaline, the event, the intensity of the event. You want to talk about killing your tank quick, man. You don't want to be out there with some guy who wants to kill you, and your tank ends. What are you gonna?
You're dead.
You are. If he's deciding he doesn't, his tank isn't out. you're a dead man if they want you to be. And I don't care who you are. Once
Yeah.
your energy's gone, your energy's gone.
Yeah, it
Like,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
I mean, you might be harder to drag off later, but that's
yeah,
about it.
that's about it. You're
That's
right.
it.
Fatigue is a motherfucker.
Shit. So we'll I want to switch to these questions and do some of that because I told people the mailbag.
I'm kind of curious what kind of questions we're getting.
I just grabbed a few, right?
Okay.
'Cause
I hope they're good. I know they're going to be good ones if you grabbed them. So
I didn't put a ton into it, right? So I got a few. I know Ryan was watching, so he had sent one just like, I don't know, maybe an hour ago.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, we'll hit
this
it,
should,
right?
now you know
'Cause
that's going to be a good one.
well, it's political, right?
You know, of course it is.
It's political.
I love
so
it. I love Ryan.
paraphrasing his thing is that, and we have to chat on it in a minute. Do we think Alexandria Cortez's chances of winning in New York have increased or decreased due to the shit going on in Venezuela?
Wow, I don't know how
So are you
engaged.
familiar with the Venezuela stuff?
I'm familiar. I don't know if there's anything new other than the country's falling apart. And I think the last thing I heard was, didn't the president come out and say that socialism was a big mistake or some shit like that?
Well, he's a far left. He's considered a far left leader.
Okay.
There was an alleged drone strike to assassinate him
Okay.
that failed.
Who's
And-
drone?
Well, okay, see, so I'm like
There's not
alleged
that
in
many-
quotation marks.
Oh, you're talking about the one that exploded in the air. I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah. That was.
That-
They were talking about his own military might have.
Right, and that supposedly there's somebody
People
in
took
the
some
U.S.
shrapnel,
that
though.
some people. I mean, something really
That's pretty
happened.
inventive. They was on video. I remember seeing it.
They have I saw the video.
That was pretty crazy.
20 minutes ago or whatever. But yeah,
It's a little crazy.
that was crazy. So there's that, and then there's droves and droves of people fleeing in a migrant pattern into Ecuador.
Mm-hmm.
So Ecuador's claiming a state of emergency and asking for help from the U.S. and also that kind of stuff. So everybody's cutting out. It's just
It's a mess.
it's a fucking mess.
It's been a mess for a little while. Venezuela.
It has, yeah. It's been a mess for a while.
It's really that country started cratering. Gosh, it must have been like 7-8 years ago, right?
It
Maybe
was-
longer.
Well, maybe a little longer.
Maybe
but
like
at
in
least,
the last decade,
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
really cratered.
It's just
They really took on communism full force, and you just saw.
bad.
You truly saw what I mean. That's socialism. Communism. Socialism is communism.
Yeah,
They just use a different word, but it's the exact
It's the
same
same
thing.
thing.
There's no
It's
such
the
thing as
same thing.
socialism light. you
right.
know?
No, there isn't.
There's not.
So there's that, and then I'll expand on his question. And there's things people always use the Netherlands and such as saying, "Oh, well, that's a success for socialism," and
Those aren't really socialist countries, though, either.
they're teeter on it.
Right, but
right?
their industries are capitalized.
Exactly.
So they're capitalist countries. They have some socialist programs that
Yes.
are efficient for a small country.
Yes,
I
for
think
smaller
I think
populations.
it's an oversimplification maybe, but their industries are, for the most part, almost all privatized. They're not government run industries. There may be some small, like maybe an airline or I don't know if the Dutch Airlines or whatever
One of them is
might be nationalized, but look, to call those countries socialist is not true.
Right.
They're not socialist countries.
and they are absolutely on the economic front failing now. They can't keep up with the programs. Now,
Well, no, that's true.
We
That's
forced
true.
them to spend that extra % on national
No,
defense.
you're right. You're right. A
And
lot of the
they're like, oh shit, how do
You're
we
right.
pay for this? Plus, their
That's true.
tax rate. Let's take the Netherlands. Their tax rate is around 60%, 60%. What?
yeah, that's a problem. And
Like,
but
holy crap!
well, so let's talk about Cortez.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are engaged. So he's asking if her chances to be elected in her district. I don't think it's affecting that at all. I don't think those people are engaged with what's happening in international politics or international relations and
I
have any
agree.
idea what's going on. I think it's a very heavily Democratic district, from what I understand. It's a heavy Puerto Rican, and that she's somebody that they can definitely identify with.
Yeah.
So I don't think it affects her at all. What's interesting is that the more interviews she does, the more of a I'm trying to say this in a nice way, a lightweight she's being exposed as, and has
Yeah.
no understanding of economics, or how, not that I'm an economics person, but she's truly a moron when it comes to talking about how to pay for programs, especially total socialization of our Medicare, just all she's going on programs which are supposed to throw her softballs. Like, she's not going on any interviews where she could be challenged on anything,
Right.
and she still looks like an idiot.
And that's bad because I'll say this from watching her and listening to her and things of that nature. Now, it's not my job to defend any politician at any point, and this isn't totally a defense of her. I think her heart and feelings are in the right place. And I just am not convinced that she is educated enough to even properly debate policy, much less try to write or institute policy.
I think she's completely out of her league. But
yeah, I think if she gets elected, I think it's a wasted seat.
She's going to get elected.
I do believe she's going to.
She's going to get elected. I think the bigger question is how her election affects the rest of the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is having an issue with her, and you're seeing Democrats who want to completely distance themselves from that leftist socialist side that's growing in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing politicians run towards her and Bernie Sanders and try to embrace that. And it's like, I think it's probably a good thing for the Republicans in the long run, because as long as she's saying these idiotic things and the Democratic Party keeps pushing her forward, then you can attach the Democratic Party to some of her statements. Yeah. And I think that can be used to a lot of Republicans who are running. I think it can be used to their advantage. But
yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
On the short term, that absolutely.
Yeah.
On the longer term, I would like her to be elected in many of the same ways as I liked Trump being elected.
Right.
Is she is going to create discourse in the system. Yeah. Because she's going to get in there and she's going to stir a bunch of stuff up. She may not be successful in some of her programs and things she wants, but she's going to stir a bunch of shit up. And I think that's going to force a correction in our politics.
I don't know. I tell you, people with her mindset scare me, because they have no. It's a dangerous mindset to think that socialism is an answer to anybody's society, and especially to the level, because she's full on socialist. There's no
water. I mean,
she's not watering it down.
She's not hiding it either.
No,
she's not trying to pretend she's
very
not
strong about socialism. Yeah. So people who think like her, I don't want anywhere near politics, to be honest. My personal opinion, and I don't want her anywhere near any vote. I don't want her having any say in what happens in my country. But maybe you're right. Maybe there's some type of good that would come from that. I don't know. It makes me nervous to see people like this being successful.
You got to do it. This is again total speculation. I think if she gets elected, like I said, I think it's going to be a wasted vote in this sense. Is that she's not going to align with the mass of the Democrats. She's certainly not going to align with the Republicans. Yeah. So I think if you, at the end of her term, if you look at her voting record, there's going to be a lot of blanks. There's going to be a lot of non-votes.
Yeah.
And as close as things are, that's going to piss off everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to be mad at that.
Well, she's going to, I'll tell you what I think will probably happen is she'll moderate so she can stay in her seat. And because she's going to find out, wow, this is good money. This is an easy job. Yeah. And I get to live like a rock star while I'm a congresswoman. Yeah. She can play the game. She can spew this, but play the game with bosses in the Democratic Party, and they'll leave her alone and let her just have her district. I'm telling you, I think that's probably what'll happen.
It's also very likely.
But who knows? We'll see. I don't know. I don't like her. Do I think that what's happening? But no, I don't think. I think our electorate is not engaged enough.
No,
I just don't think they are.
I think they're engaging more. They're just not educated.
Right. They're not.
So we have more of a.
Yeah.
I don't want to say an uneducated, because does our voter base really need to worry about what's going on in Venezuela to determine who they're going to elect in New York, in a New York district?
Right.
Maybe not. I mean, they're not uneducated. I just think that they are not properly educated on what's going on.
I think they're more knowledgeable than ever before. That has a lot to do with the internet and social media and people's access to information. So I think for sure our voters in general are more knowledgeable. I feel like they are. But
there's a good chunk of them that are.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I just see a lot. When you look at what's happening with the divisiveness of our politics, I don't know how knowledgeable people really are, because I hear a lot of really stupid shit getting said, and it depends on what you're listening to. Right. Because I was talking with somebody and they were bringing up. We were talking about this one topic, and I was talking about this one area. I don't want to get into it because it's going to open up a whole can of worms. But this one area, and he had never even heard of that. And I was like, how have you not heard about this? This is like all over the news. Yeah. He hasn't heard of it because he's listening to completely different news sources. Yeah. They're not talking about that. And I'm like, wow, this is like, that's a problem. Like, people aren't getting the same information.
No, they're not. And when you say people, I hear crazy shit from every side, every angle. Republicans, Democrats, liberals, far left, far right, everybody's saying crazy shit right now to some level.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just, holy moly. Yeah. So I don't think it affects her chances.
I don't either. I think 100% she's getting elected.
I feel like I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I feel more confident about her getting elected than I do than I did about Cejudo winning that fight.
Damn.
And I was kind of confident about Cejudo. I wasn't 100% confident, but I felt like
you were pretty confident about it.
I was pretty confident, but then I was kind of hedging a little bit. Like, look, if you put a gun to my head, I would say Demetrius, but I just feel like Cejudo's going to win the fight. So anyway.
Yeah. So you just, oh my God. Okay. So I've grabbed one of the BJJ ones, right?
All right. Jiu-jitsu question.
I actually said that on purpose because you said
I don't like when people say it just sounds weird. Even though my name's BJJ Cop, but that's just for
typing
Instagram.
And saying is different.
But when you say it, BJJ, I'm like if you're talking about BJJ, no one says BJJ. They'll say jiu-jitsu. Right. Or some guys will say jits, which that's a little controversial because I've had some guys, you don't say jits. That's disrespectful. You should say jiu-jitsu. I've never BJJ. Like, no one says BJJ. It just sounds weird. It's too close to BJ.
Yeah.
I
don't like it.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. I'm kind of curious.
So this guy was Nick P. That was in Arizona. That was like the extent I wanted to kind of give their names.
I love Arizona, number one. It's a freaking gorgeous state. Very underrated state.
I don't know where in Arizona, though. He could be in the middle of Podunk nowhere hanging out with the coyotes, man.
Yeah, but you can just drive like a little ways. I mean, Arizona's beautiful. I got to drive through it. I love Arizona.
Arizona is cool.
Yeah. So
this guy was basically, how does he start jiu-jitsu? He's really scared to just simply walk into any one of the places. I'm kind of paraphrasing some of his business. He doesn't know anything about it, what to ask for, what to look for, how to determine if they're good or not. He's 19 years old. He is new to being a fan, but he is a big fan of jiu-jitsu and MMA, and he's really wanting to learn. So basically, what does he do?
All right, so this is what I'll say. It was Nick P.
Nick P.
Okay, so first of all, do not be scared, because the coolest people you will ever meet, the chillest people you will ever meet will be in a jiu-jitsu gym. Everybody in there remembers what it's like to your first day going in there, not knowing what's going to happen, seeing people getting strangled. They remember. So don't be scared. Right. Everybody wants you there. Everybody's super cool. Almost, I'm just speaking from my experience. Most people in the gym are super cool, from your black belts all the way down to your other white belts. There's always going to be a lot of white belts versus upper belts. It's just the way schools are. It's
anything.
So
there's always one with the lower than top.
Just go in. Meet the instructor, look at the schools in your area, go in and look at recommendations, look at reviews, go into a couple of the gyms, because almost every gym I've ever been to offers at least 1 or 2 free training sessions just to let you feel it and see if you like it there. So go to multiple gyms, try them out, talk to the instructors, see what the environment's like, and if you like it, then sign up and go for it. Don't be scared though.
Would you recommend them setting this up on an open mat scenario? Or
no, I would recommend going to a class. Yeah. Now, a lot of gyms, what they'll do, not every gym, but a lot of gyms, they'll give you a free private for your first class. It depends on the gym. But just go to a class. Go to a fundamentals class. You get to see what it's like on a daily basis. And how you start. So it'll be...
And you can observe. I don't know any place that will not allow you to observe.
Absolutely.
So you can go observe any...
And I've seen guys do that. They just want to come in and watch first. Yeah. And then the next time they'll come in and take a class. But I say dive right in.
Yeah, I would
Put a gi on, or if it's no gi, whatever it is, go in and just dive in. Yeah. And I promise you, it's really hard at first. I mean, it's really hard all the time. But especially at first... But just dive right in. Yeah. And if you're a fan already, you're going to love it, because you're going to start learning some of the stuff you see on TV. And then once you start actually learning how to do it, it's even cooler. And you're gonna meet. And here's the other part. Yeah, especially 19 is such a great age to start.
Yeah. Oh,
you're
yeah.
young. Shit, you'll be a black belt before you're 30, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's super awesome.
That's a cool deal. Yeah.
So if you stay consistent, so start now and just go for it. And I think who knows where it leads you.
Yeah.
But you're gonna meet some new friends, and it's gonna open up a new avenue to your life. I promise you, it's gonna open up things for you that you didn't expect to be there. It's gonna change the way you think. You're gonna just do it. But
most schools, academies that I've been to and been around, I mean, it's a close knit group of people.
Almost every time.
And it's in a good way.
Very good way.
In a very supportive way, and a very So.
Watch out for the cultist gyms. They're few and far between, but they're around. Any place where the instructor is looked at as, I mean, they're always going to be looked at as he's a badass and it's tough to deal with them. But just any place where it's more than that, where they're looked at as they're treated like something more than a regular person, then that might not be a good environment.
And some of that'll show up in the reviews, I think, for the most part.
I don't know. Like I feel like there's so much games played online on reviews, and now that there's ways to control what reviews you get, and especially if you're running a cult-like environment, your guys are going to go on there and flood it with
8,000 5 stars and
whatever. But you'll know, I think. Well, at 19, I don't know if you know, but just go in, try a bunch of gyms out. If you got questions, you can always DM me on my Instagram, and I'll get to it. And just hey, it's Nick. I sent that question in. This is where I live. What gyms do you recommend? I'll look for. I've done that for a lot of people. They'll send me, hey, I want to start. This is where I live. What gyms would you recommend? I'll go look in the area and I'll tell you, hey, I may know some of the guys because it's a small community. I'll say, I know for sure that guy's cool, or I'll know somebody that knows somebody. I know for sure that guy's cool.
Yeah.
Go try. I'll recommend gyms to you. So
we'll get it.
Anyway,
now,
feel free to send me a DM.
Have a healthy dose of fear, though. Fear is not the right word.
Right.
Have a healthy dose of leaving your ego at the door.
Yeah.
Because you posted. I was laughed. I was going to share it, and then I got busy.
Yeah.
The cartoon clipping that you put up with your jiu-jitsu partner. So his jiu-jitsu partner, they're basically by the pool. So it was like, your first whatever period of training with your partner. And he's like going down underwater.
Yes.
And he's like, don't worry, I'll be back. He's going down underwater,
Yeah, I've posted all that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu is very hard. So this is the thing. It's very hard, and you're going to get strangled, and that's not bad. It's just a combat sport, so it's really hard.
You're going to get strangled to learn, not to be strangled.
But you will get better, and then before you know it, you're going to be strangling some guys.
Yeah.
The first time you get to strangle somebody, you're going to be like, that was so cool. And that's going to hook you. And you're just, I remember I was like, I can't wait till I got my first submission.
Yeah.
I still remember that feeling of when I got my very first time someone tapped because I did a submission. It was a Kimura. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, this was amazing. Remember my first collar choke. Remember my first rear naked choke. I remember the first time I hit a triangle. Those are the most amazing feelings. Like, you're like, you can't believe you just imposed your will on another human being to the point they had a tap where they would have gone to sleep or had something broken. And man, it hooks you. And it's leave your ego at the door.
Yeah.
Because your ego is your biggest impediment to learning and to not being injured.
Yeah. Don't get your feelings hurt.
Yeah,
Nobody's gonna hurt your feelings.
You're gonna lose. A good example of, and I know you don't know who he is, but a lot of guys do. Gary Tonin, he's a phenomenal grappler. He's just starting his MMA career, and it's going really well. Trains under, it's a Renzo Gracie guy. Trains under Tom DeBlas. And he says, this is what he says. He says, in a regular training session, in an hour, he'll tap 15 times easily.
Yeah.
And because he's always experimenting, always trying, always putting himself in positions. And that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You will tap in training. You're supposed to tap in training.
Yeah. You've got to push your limits. You've got to try. You've got to get outside
So
your
it's okay to
comfort zone.
tap.
Yeah.
That's some of the biggest problems I see with guys is not tapping when they're caught and they get. I've hurt guys because they didn't tap. And not trying to hurt them, it's just
because you don't know.
Sometimes you don't.
And stuff you don't.
I've gotten now to where I know, and I just let it go. Like I'm pretty good now about understanding. Okay, look, this is hurting him. I know it's hurting him. He just doesn't want to tap, so I'm just gonna let it go and move on. Or I'm not gonna rip it worse and make it a permanent injury or something bad's gonna happen. So, but yeah, when the less experience you have, you don't know. You're thinking, well, I'm missing something, so let me try harder. And you're there, and it's just they don't want to tap, and so they're just letting the damage occur. Ooh. I had a guy that had to sit out like over a month or 6 weeks, and he was mad at me for it because I'd put a bicep slicer on him. I said, well, you hurt me yesterday. I was like, well, why didn't you tap?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought it wasn't sinking in. Oh, well, I just didn't want to tap. I didn't need to tap. But I said, well, you're out 6 weeks. Like how? Like you're out 6 weeks. What do you mean you didn't need to tap?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that happens.
Yeah.
So that's
Nick,
where ego hurts.
There you go, man.
Yeah, DM me, brother. I'll lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, and then his information will be down on the YouTube thing when we're done.
Yeah, you can find me.
Yeah,
Instagram. I have a YouTube page, and Facebook page, all that
description stuff.
Yeah.
But just after, because you can't do it before.
Yeah. I'll get to it.
Son of a gun.
What's next?
Yeah, I know. I thought that was funny. I didn't put this dude's name. So it's a guy, because, sometimes you don't want to do that. He'd get his ass in trouble.
That's okay.
How does he get his girl to work out? Okay, no, hold on.
His girl.
She was in caps. She was so hot. Okay, and then now she doesn't even work out at all.
How long have they been dating? Fuck,
that's all I know, dude. That's the question.
So she was really, really hot when they started dating?
Apparently, she used to be super hot. I'm going to assume she worked out. Let's make the assumption that she was super hot and worked out.
We'll say she worked out.
I don't have a fucking clue. She could have just been 19 and lucky. I don't know, right? But
could
I don't know. This guy didn't have his age.
All
just
right.
Name that stuff. But he looked relatively young. I'll say he looked like he was in his mid-20s. Okay. I can make the assumption on the social media that was his girlfriend that he's talking about.
Okay.
Or girl or wife. That part I don't know.
Right. Significant other.
In that, how you scroll the pictures, in there you could see a considerable difference in how she
Did
looked.
you see the I was going to say progression, but maybe digression? I'm not sure if that's the right word.
The change.
From was it significant?
His definition of super hot to which she appeared to be fit.
Okay.
Not muscular name, but she appeared
just
to
a
be
fit girl.
Just fit, but young. And then now is not as fit, and clearly it's been 3 years maybe.
Okay,
2 years?
so 2 or 3 years.
Over 2 or 3 year time period.
I don't know. What do you say?
Significant
What
change.
do you think? How do you This is a very delicate, dicey situation.
It is, yeah. It is tough. So there's I'm bleeding in my own blood over here by biting my tongue. So it's because there's the direct, there's the psychological correct way to say it, there's the PC way to say it, there's all of these things. I'll say this. Communication is key. And if you're with somebody who you're going to potentially be with for a very long time, and something's happening that you don't like, you better speak the fuck up, because it's not going to get better.
But that topic, that's a tough topic, because women are very sensitive about their appearance, and
right. But if I don't know if they're married or not, but if they're early in the relationship.
Okay,
and early in the relationship, I'll just say less than 5 years.
Okay, yeah, that's early.
That's early in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely.
If something's happened and he's like, and he doesn't really have that kind of eye for her anymore, where's that going to be at 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years?
It's definitely going to deteriorate. It's going to be a problem. I agree with you. Well,
gotta address it.
So first of all, let me just put this disclaimer out there. I am the last person you should ever ask about relationship advice.
Which usually means you're the first person, because you're going to be direct and honest about it.
Well, no, what I mean is I've screwed up more relationships than you can imagine. So, I'm not very, look, let me just say this. I've made a ton of mistakes. So in some ways, maybe that makes me a good person to go to.
Failure leads to knowledge and wisdom.
Well, I was going to say success, but I don't know about the success part.
Well,
but you're right. It does lead to some knowledge and wisdom. And I will say that women are very sensitive about their appearance.
Yes.
And if you're young, trust me, the older you get, the more you really realize how absolutely insecure a woman can be, even if they're super hot.
Yes.
They can be extremely insecure about their appearance, which is so weird to me, because guys are the exact opposite. We think we're hot it doesn't matter what we look like. We think every woman wants us.
Yes.
So, that being said, I would say, I agree with you. Communicate with her. But I would say maybe just if you work out on a regular basis, tell her how much. This is how I'd approach it. I would say, baby, not you, but we'll just say this girl,
Yeah.
baby, I love you, and I want to spend more time with you, and it would mean a lot to me if you would spend time with me when I went to the gym and worked out. It would really mean a lot to me. So that would give us more time together.
You think that's
women,
beating around the bush?
let me
though?
tell you something. Women, look. This is the thing. Women love it when you want to spend time with them, right? So, yeah, it is beating around the bush a little bit, but here, if it works, if it gets her in the gym, and so maybe this is what happens. She sees other girls in the gym that you go to that are hot. She's like, "Fuck, I better step my game back up," right? And then she starts working out with you, and so now you're sharing an activity together.
Yeah.
And as a side benefit, she starts getting in shape. That would be my suggestion. That would be my first suggestion. First attempt would be just to invite her and do it with the guise of, I miss you and I want us to spend more time together, and I would enjoy it if you did this activity with me.
Yeah.
And I think if you love her, then you mean that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to start. And maybe that works. Hopefully that'll work.
Hopefully it works.
She may stay home and keep eating ding dongs. I don't know.
Ooh. I see. This would be, if you're not happy, you got to say it, man.
If there's I agree.
And I'm not saying walk in and be like, "Yo, bitch, get your ass to the gym, you fat fuck." No,
That's
none
a
of
bad
that.
idea.
No, I'm saying there's a right way to say it, and I can't give that recommendation because I don't know him and I don't know
Right.
her, and they know the dynamic of the relationship. So
Right.
there's a delivery that's going to be unique to them,
Yes.
and I just think you have to say it. You have to say it, and people can get mad at this or not, and this goes into biology and the different minds of men and women, and there's no necessarily fluidity in that. It's just fucking the way it is. Men are visual creatures. You hear that time and time again, and you hear that because there's assloads of scientific evidence to support that.
Right.
Right? And you can get mad and all this, but that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if they're homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual. I don't give a shit what it is. They're visual creatures, right? That's important. If you, I hate to use some of these things, but if you sort of in quotations signed up for X, and that turns into a W, you might be a little bit upset about that.
Yeah.
So maybe you got to talk about it.
You're saying like X's and two X's?
X, X, Y, X.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're saying that X grew into
To a
two
double
X's,
X?
which is a W. Like I just think this is true. And good luck. Good luck, brother.
Good
So
motherfucking luck.
give one of those ideas a shot. And
I want an update.
And yeah, please tell
like
us
if
what
you could put a
happened.
little spy cam on it, use like the spectacles, with the camera.
Google Glass.
No,
They
it's
haven't advanced that yet.
the Snapchat ones.
I hadn't even seen those. They
Those are
got
cool.
Snapchat glasses.
Oh, dude, they're pretty badass. Record HD, and they got the little cameras out the front and shit. Those are pretty cool. I'll have to show you. Yeah, those are sweet. You get that?
Let me just send him a text. Keep going.
Yeah, I was making sure you're not in trouble.
Well, I'm not in trouble.
Yeah, we got okay. So a business one. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Business one. I'm
Yeah,
definitely the
business
wrong
one.
guy to ask for that one.
This was Trent H or Trent L in South Carolina. Sometimes my writing gets a little bit sloppy. So he says, here's everybody talking about, in quotations, value. They all say add value first. He goes, but I am a nobody, in quotations again. So he's like, how do I add value? If I do, when does it pay off? Please don't tell me to DM people and like and comment things to get their attention. Be real if you can. He goes, I really want to succeed, but I'm lost in all of this.
What was the first part of the question?
So here's everybody talking about adding value
To his business.
to, like, if you want to network and you do things, you want to connect to people.
Okay, so it's just about connecting and networking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that whole type of thing. So
Okay.
you always want to, if you want that person to help you in some way, be an investor, be a mentor, be a something, and you need to get their attention.
Mm-hmm.
The whole way everybody talks nowadays is you want to add value to them first before you ever ask for anything. So give before you receive.
Okay.
Right?
I
that
got
kind
you.
of stuff. And he was off memory, I'd guess early 20s.
Okay, so he's a young guy looking to
Early 20s.
network and start a business maybe, and
his on his profile was something about wanting to be self-made, wanting to be an entrepreneur, want to be self-made, things of that nature were on his deal.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm making the assumption this was business related because that was the extent of it.
So he's looking to expand his social media presence, or he's looking to expand.
I would say his social
networking.
media.
Social media is included in that, right? I guess nowadays social media is a big part of networking.
Primary part, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think that's the way a lot of people connect.
Because like galas and those types of socials are not necessarily there anymore.
Yeah, like remember when they had like that? What was it they used to send out? Like, gosh, they used to have these dumb ass little networking emails you'd send out to people, and it was like, God, what was it called? I think I still see them. LinkedIn.
Well, LinkedIn does that, but LinkedIn is.
But was it really effective? Like everybody was using LinkedIn for a minute.
It was for a little while, and I shut my LinkedIn down.
Yeah, well, everybody was using it for a long time, but it didn't seem like it was super effective. I could be wrong. It seemed like it was like saturated.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very successful, and it's just it. I think what it turned into, and we'll get to your question real quick here. I think LinkedIn and some of the other social media networks that are perimeter like that just turned into replication platforms of the primary. So you'd go and you'd post on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and then all you would do is then just repopulate that exact same information onto LinkedIn or even the bodybuilding.com and so on and so forth on the other ones. Tumblr and things of that nature. So those were all replication sites. That's what they turned into.
I think that's what it seemed like.
So the value of them went to crap.
This is what I would say, because this is something I'm working on myself. And I think one thing that I've seen and what I've observed is, one, you need to have some type of skill or some type of knowledge base people are interested in.
Yeah.
And people want to connect with.
Yeah.
And then you need to put it out there. And the liking stuff, I don't think it's so much about that. I think it's about putting it out there first and just keep adding to it and just keep putting it out there. If that makes sense, putting out whatever your skill is, whatever your knowledge base is that you're wanting to spread and that maybe is connected to your business, and then be patient. Yeah. Right.
And I think that's with him is when he's saying add value and don't tell me to like and click and comment and DM and things like that. Those things are useful tools or tactics.
Right, being active.
When you have, like you just said, when you have a value, a skill, a product, a service, something.
Right.
Because otherwise, if you DM me or comment on my stuff, that's cool. But if you're not doing something, why? I got to be interested to go back, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think so. First thing is if you haven't developed whatever it is, first things first, I think, is you need to develop whatever it is you're going to sell, whatever it is you're trying to, whatever your entrepreneur business is, or whatever idea that you're developing. You need to develop it. Once you've developed it and you're ready to put it out there, make sure it's developed and ready to go.
Yeah.
Then start putting it out there and just be consistent. Be consistent with it. Yeah. And if it's something people are really interested in, they'll come. The word will get out. Yeah. You'll start to see people come. You'll start to see people connect with you. You'll start to see your followers or whatever it is that you're trying to hook up with. You'll see that steadily go.
Yeah.
And
I think your first batch of people, your first 500 to 1,000 followers, right? And if that could take a year to do, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's okay.
The first group, I think, is where you're going to get the greatest benefit and greatest feedback from in developing whatever it is you're developing.
Yes, yeah.
Again, whatever it is. So I like the idea. I've heard a few people say this that are some of the bigger names, is to document over create, right? So whatever it is you're going to do, if it's a service, if it's a product, if it's a widget, if it's an app, if it's a photography, whatever the skill is that you're doing, document how you're building that. I think that's important.
I agree.
A lot of people are interested in that.
Yeah.
They want to see the story as opposed to the polished finished product. Then once you have that, you've got your 500 to 1,000 followers, which some people scoff at. But whatever, that's a good base. You get your information, and then once you have that information, then you start using the tactics like I think he didn't want to hear about. DM people, message people, Instagram, the follow to unfollow and all those games.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to pay and you don't have somebody hyper famous that's going to be out there doing your stuff,
right,
that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I think patience is a big part of it too. You just have to be patient with it. One thing that I've noticed with my deal, other people who were in the thing I'm pushing is obviously it's kind of a niche thing, you know. It's defensive tactics for police officers. So we're looking at a limited group of people that, you know, I've got a specific mission in mind with mine, which is very much just to spread jiu-jitsu to the police officers. That's my sole thing. I'm not trying to profit from it. Only goal I have in that is just getting cops to train so we can save lives. Yeah. That's my only goal. I'm not trying to profit from it at all. But what I found is there's a few other guys, police officers, who are on they have a similar idea and similar mission. And the cool thing about the thing I do with jiu-jitsu is it's not competitive and like, oh, I'm not going to, no, it's kind of, everything is, for the most part, what I've encountered is it's the opposite. Hey man, I love what you're doing. Yeah. Let me give you some ideas. Or, you know, I've gotten really positive feedback from other people doing the same thing. Yeah. And then we connect with each other and then we push each other's stuff or, you know, whatever. I think that'll happen in a lot of areas, whatever you're pushing. Depending, as I know some stuff's super hyper competitive, but you'll end up finding people who are good people who want to help other people out, and they'll push your stuff too. And I think it's just one of those things, kind of what you advised on. Show the story, show the development, and your product going to continually evolve and get better or get to wherever you're trying to get it to. And just keep pushing it. Just stay patient is what I would say, and just keep consistent with it.
It is. I mean, consistency is the key. You know, when does it pay off, man? I mean, I wish I knew what the service was. Does that make sense?
It so depends on what your
or product or service. I wish I knew what the thing it was.
And if you're young, it's hard. Like the younger you are, the harder it is to be patient, right? Because you don't.
Your perspective is only so many years.
So you don't. Your understanding of patience is so different than when you're our age, where you really understand what patience means. Hey, it could be years. It's okay. Just stay consistent, plug in. Eventually, it'll catch, and eventually, you'll see the benefits of it. Yeah. So you're young, man. If you're in your 20s, you're young, bro. Just stay consistent. It'll pay off. Trust me. Maybe 30, maybe 5-10 years, but trust me.
And you 5-10 years to go get a job you hate for a little while to help pay the bills until whatever it is that's going on. You get there and
telling you, man, 5-10 years passes by quick.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're 20-something years old, I mean.
That's half your life at that point.
For them.
For perspective, you know?
Yeah. Like they don't even know. But they really have it. At 20 years old, you probably have a solid 13 years of perspective. Oh, man. Probably remember
I can't even remember how I thought when I was 20 years old.
I know, me either.
That was so long ago.
But it was like,
I was a kid.
You got such time, a kid. All the time in the world. And And what I like about him sending questions, I'm sure he probably sent questions to a boatload of different people, the same thing. But he's got his head on right. He wants to get somewhere. He's only 20 years old. And this, if you're going to take risks, holy shit, do it now.
Oh, when you're 20, because
you don't have the family. You don't have all the ties. You don't have anything.
Do it now.
You think, fuck, if you have to live in your car for a couple of weeks, you can do it. You know, I mean, like, it doesn't matter. You're like, fuck it. You just, you know, take it out. So
I absolutely, I agree. 100%.
That was awesome.
That is awesome.
Okay, so Jeremy S. in Kansas. This is a diet and nutrition question.
Okay.
So I figure we'll hit it. So it's help man, exclamation mark. He says he's so confused about what to eat, what's good, what's healthy, and so on. He's like, now this was to me. He's like, you've been around a long time and always looked right, whatever that means.
You're jacked.
You're jacked. He says, he goes, I know you can't give me any kind of specific diet or anything. Maybe just point me in the right direction. Thanks. I wish they would I want longer questions.
You know what I think? So what I heard was that Arnold Schwarzenegger used to eat steak and pancakes. That's how he got. That was his secret. Besides the secret sauce.
Well, a little secret sauce.
But it was steak and pancakes. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that's the trick. I did that. Actually, I did that 3-4 years ago. I got in really good shape. My diet was steak and pancakes. I'm not kidding you. That's crazy. It worked. I was ripped. I went to Worlds that year, and only because I ran into a buzzsaw, I lost that fight. Because I was on fire. I felt amazing.
Yeah.
It was a great diet. And then, I wasn't 40 yet though.
So I'll say this: steak and pancakes, maybe not the pancake. I don't.
It was whole. Okay, so
Yeah.
it was whole wheat pancakes with blueberries.
What's it? Blueberries, great.
Blueberries is a
Yeah.
superfood, right?
Yeah, love the blueberries.
I'm just
Kill
saying
it.
it worked for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it
you
worked.
know?
It worked for me for like 6 months.
And yeah, it's like this. Man, it's such a broad question. What the fuck do I eat? Like, are you a marathon runner? Are you strength trainer? Are you this? Are you that?
Yeah.
I will say this. What I'll do is I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna say all science. Okay, shift solely to science. Basically, it's never a bad idea to eat as natural a diet as you possibly can, and natural being the less foods that are processed, the better. The less refined carbohydrates, the better. The less straight sugar, the better. All of those things, the better. I don't know. I wish I had more perspective on this, but I was jotting stuff down. Fruits are not sugar. A lot of people freak out. Look, I gotta cut sugar.
It's got a lot of sugar in it, right? Fruit's got sugar in it.
With all the enzymes and minerals and fibers and all the other shit that's in the fruit. If you're eating whole fruit, it's not straight sugar. It's not. Okay, so clearly that's good. If you don't have any allergies and you're great and you don't react to gluten and all that kind of stuff, great. Go have grains, have all that kind of stuff, just not highly processed. Right? I mean, bread.
Seems simple to me.
Bread clearly can be a problem over time. Even if you're healthy.
Bread's so good though.
So good, man. I know.
Like
man.
muffins with peanut butter and honey on it. A little cinnamon.
I don't know if this dude needs to be doing that because what I was doing, and this is my fault. I should have sent questions back saying, "Hey, expand more."
Yeah.
But I'd go to their page and I'd kind of look.
There's the Gracie diet. Have you read up on the Gracie diet?
No.
It's not a joke. I'm dead serious. It's basically it's like almost an all fruit diet. A lot of the old school Gracies would just eat fruit basically, and most of them are in phenomenal shape and they incredible all the way through their 70s and 80s. They're just super fit and healthy and. But it's like a lot of fruit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of controversial because some guys are like, you can't just eat fruit. But
they don't just eat fruit. It's a
right.
good portion of fruit.
Yeah.
It's regional fruit.
Right.
So it's all fresh. It's not.
Mm-hmm. They push eating a lot of fruit.
Yeah.
They said that should be a main staple of your diet is fruit.
Which is smart because you get good hydration, good fiber, good nutrients, good micro and macronutrients.
I think it makes sense if you think about if you're training jiu-jitsu a lot all the time, so you're getting those carbs to train, but you're not getting refined sugars and those processed foods. It's not processed; it's natural, organic food.
And then I remember when I was down there, they were big on fruits, all just fresh chopped fruits, nuts,
acai,
nuts out the fucking wazoo, dude.
Acai.
Acai. They're
so good. When I was in Austin, we were at so every time we go to I'm a big fan of Austin, Texas. It's great. It's one of my favorite places in Texas, and maybe my favorite place. And we found an acai. There's a lot of food trucks. Like food trucks are huge in Austin. They got them all over the place. They have just sections that are just food trucks. Yeah. And we found one outside Barton Springs that had an acai food truck.
What were they doing with it?
So good. They were selling acai.
Like it was just like frozen and
it was like the way it's supposed to be. It's the frozen acai with nuts and Nutella or peanut butter or strawberries, bananas, whole grain, whatever you have all those different options, and it was so good. I just love it. Like every jiu-jitsu tournament has acai in it. Man, I eat so much acai when I go to Worlds because they have the big ones have acai stands. I eat so much. It's so good. It's so good.
And for people wondering, it's very similar in nutrient value to blueberries.
And it tastes a lot similar. I guess
the same direction.
Same same idea.
Yeah.
You're right. It doesn't taste the same, but it's similar. If you like blueberries, you'll like acai.
Yeah.
This is, I think, a fair comparison. There need to be more acai places here in Houston. There's one up north, and then you got ones that fake it, like these smoothie places. And I got one time, and it was like a bowl of smoothie.
Yeah.
Like, this is not acai.
No,
what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's like fake flavored crap.
Yeah, like not real acai.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know this. Is total straight question. Is it difficult to grow? Does it have to be a regional thing?
I think you can order it frozen. That's what all these guys up here do. Okay. They get it frozen and then they prepare it. I'm not sure how they prepare it. I guess they have to warm it somehow. or unfreeze it somehow.
Yeah.
But they just ship it up here frozen. That's how all these guys get it. You can go to HEB and get frozen acai.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it
and
all
make your
frozen,
own
but, like, I
acai
wonder why
bowls.
it's not more widespread. 'Cause
I think people don't know about it. I didn't know about it until I started training jiu-jitsu, and then
Oh,
I
shit.
found acai, and I was like,
Yeah.
I heard everybody talking about it.
Yeah.
So let me try one of these, and I was like, man, this is like heaven's nectar. I love acai.
because it was good. So I had had it before. Then there was, I'll just say, 8 to 10 years ago, give or take a little bit.
Yeah.
Chronology's fucked up. It went through this deal to where everyone was like, "Oh, acai everything," and it was all this Mona V bullshit and MLM stuff. And then so I was just like,
Yeah.
fuck acai.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. Don't talk to me about it, because it was, the cure for cancer and the cure for everything. It
Oh,
turned
really?
into one of
I
those
hate
for
when
a
they
few
do that.
years.
I just think it's
Oh,
delicious.
so bad.
I
And
just
it
think
is
it's
great.
delicious. I don't even know if it's healthy,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it sure is delicious.
It has a little bit more calorically dense than what blueberries are.
Yeah.
Not much, and just a little bit. And it's totally fine.
Yeah, I remember before one tournament, I think it was Worlds again, and I had to make weight. I hadn't weighed in yet because I hadn't fought yet. If I had a fight in the afternoon, but I was at the venue in the morning and they had acai there, and I was like, I'm just gonna get one. I'm under. I think that was the year I was like really ripped, and I went and got one, and I got like a good one, and I knew I was a couple pounds underweight, and I'm eating it, and I remember someone I was hanging out with there. They're like, Jason, you gotta make weight in a couple hours and fight. I go, it's just one bowl. I couldn't wait, and I was still underweight. So
If you're depleted, it's gonna eat even better.
that's so good.
It's
I love that
it's
stuff.
so
I can't.
awesome.
I can't wait for Worlds just for that. That and the Bellagio buffet. Those are my two favorites.
Bellagio buffet is good.
So good.
Yeah, that is good.
That is
That one's
man.
yeah. That one's good.
Acai and the Bellagio, but
The,
I don't even care about fighting. I just can't. No, I do care about fighting. But
Caesar's is
the Caesar's pretty good.
that one is the best.
Really, because I've always been told Bellagio, and that's where I always go every year.
Bellagio is not for what food item to food item. Each individual item is probably a little bit better. But what I liked about the Caesar's is that there is like literally an entire wing that was traditional Asian.
So is that the one at Caesar's Palace?
Yeah.
Across the street?
Yeah.
I may
It was.
I may change plans this year.
really
I may do
Yeah.
Caesar's Palace.
And now I'm not a big dessert guy, but their dessert area is probably one of the best.
My main thing when I go to Bellagio is the pancakes, the French toast. What else?
Oh, see, you're all on that bread side. I don't know much about that, man.
Well, after I fight, I want that.
Yeah.
I want the pancakes and the French toast and all that stuff. I need it, and the syrup and the chocolate milk and the, so good, so good. Like because I don't eat it. I almost never eat it until, especially coming up. Like right now, it's like, I got 3 weeks, so it's like just like
You're on lockdown.
yeah. And so by the time after you get done fighting, like it's like tomorrow's the buffet. Tomorrow morning's the buffet, and I just get so excited about it. The pool, and then the buffet.
Yeah. So I'll look at it and see what they have
Yeah.
on the breakfast side of it.
Okay,
Breakfast.
I might change plans, but Bellagio's got my heart.
Yeah.
so
If you got your place, don't screw that
that's
up.
my
man.
place, man.
Don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that Jeremy?
Yeah, that was Jeremy.
It was Jeremy from Kansas.
Mhm.
Dude, that basically really honestly hit me and give me a little more detail. I can help out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
He's the guy to ask for sure. Don't ask me because I'll have you eating pancakes and steak 3 times a day. It worked.
Pancakes and steak, man.
Just gets a little expensive, but it works.
Which is awesome.
Worked for
I was
me.
like, yeah.
But I wasn't 40 yet. Or I might just turn 40. I don't remember.
Okay, so that was all the ones that I'd written.
Okay. Good questions.
Yeah, pretty good. I was
That's
like, let me see what these guys,
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
kind of like those questions. Hey, I got a cool incident. Not an incident, but the guy hit me up. So first of all, trolls are real.
Oh shit.
I've been getting hit with some
Yeah.
trolls lately, or some Monday morning quarterbackers, or some alleged experts
Yeah.
on my
Oh,
my
okay.
my Instagram. And
I can't wait for this.
well, so I've never really had it before. Everything's been so positive up to this point, but I have more people looking at my stuff now, and so it's expanding, which is good. And I've always heard about it, and I thought, well, maybe it's just at my little area, the police and jiu-jitsu stuff. it's just those are such cool people that they're no, that's not. It's not true.
Yeah.
So, a friend of mine, jiu-jitsu cop, a guy named he's in Georgia. He's a purple belt under Alliance. He does a lot of videos as well. Jiu-jitsu cop on Instagram. He's great Instagram. Check it out. But anyway, he sent me a DM, and some guy had sent him a picture of me on my Instagram, telling him he should fight me. Okay. And he sends it to me. He's like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" I'm like, "No, I don't know that guy." And they were like, "Man, freaking trolls, dude! It's getting like this is ridiculous." And
awesome.
like they're pitting us against each other.
Yeah.
It's just like if you know, we're like we talk all the time and we're really cool with each other. And anyway, he had that one, and then I said, "Man!" Then all of a sudden, I started getting hit with some stupid shit. People commenting on my stuff, like making real stupid comments, and I was like, "Man, like." You know, I was like, why are people being like, why is some of this negativity there? And then I had like a purple belt comment telling me I was overconfident in what I was teaching, and I'm like, overconfident? Well, I had one before that saying you should check out Henzo Gracie BJJ for good techniques. I'm like, asshole, I am Henzo Gracie BJJ. That's like, you idiot. That's what I train under. So, and then this purple belt said this, but he was not even a cop or anything. And he's like, "Oh, you know, that sacrifice technique's dangerous. You don't even teach that for tournaments." I'm like, "Well, what? That's bullshit." Like the technique I was showing a Russian arm tie, which is a basic wrestling move.
Also, yeah.
That's a basic wrestling move. It's used all the time. I hit that one. That's one of the few throws I'm actually good at. And, but anyway, he sent that shit, and then of course one of my friends lit him up, and I've seen some other guys I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from guys that I know, like black belts and stuff that I know who are legit. They give me a lot of positive feedback, so I feel good. But anyway, yesterday, or it might have been this morning, I think, a guy hit me up. He sent me a picture, and I'll send it to you. And it was of his shirt, and it was blood. He's a jailer, deputy jailer. His shirt's all bloodied up. And he just sent me, says, and he was, hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate your videos. He goes, some of that stuff you showed helped save my life today, or save me from really getting hurt today.
Okay.
And I said, man, what happened? And he broke it down and sent me the video. And he got attacked.
Surveillance video.
Mm-hmm. He got attacked by an inmate who was significantly larger than him. Now, this guy's not small, but he's real fit deputy. But the inmate was way bigger than him. So he attacks him. He hits the guy with his hip throw. Pretty nice hip toss. Yeah. But the guy, he lands, but then the guy rolls and gets on top of him. Oh. Man, he doesn't panic. He wedges. He hip escapes. Ends up putting the guy in like an upside down triangle. Rolls him over on top and holds him till he gets help. Fairness, there was another deputy there who was not very helpful. I didn't,
that happened. Yeah.
Oh, I was I would have been very upset if I was him. Like, get your ass down here and help me control this guy. But it was beautiful. And actually, I have to say that a lot of that was just him. Like, that was just stuff he already knew. And he told me he'd done MMA for a couple of years, and he's only been training jiu-jitsu straight for like 1 year. Yeah. And but he wanted to give me some credit for helping him out. And I've gotten some messages like that before.
That's awesome, though.
And man, but it makes me feel really good. It's like, okay, yeah, these trolls out here. But then there's legit guys who are like, hey, that is
like that I was waiting for a punchline. I was like,
no, legit story. I'll show you the video when we get done. I'll show you the video. It's a good video. And man, it was crazy. But anyway, it was just cool, man. It's a cool story, and it makes it. Because what I do, the only thing I care about is just getting information out to guys and getting them to train. And because I say that, I say, hey, you've got to train consistently.
I'll say this: the videos you post, the benefit to them, which is why you probably reach this guy. I'll project onto it, is that it's very singular. It's very linear. It's one thing. It's one way. Mm-hmm. This is how you do it. You talk it. Yeah, I mean, does that make sense? Like, it's just one thing. You're not trying to advance positions and go from this to that. And hey, if this and if it's none of that crap. It's just simply, here's the deal. Here's the scenario, and you show it.
Right.
And anyone with any level of training will be able to follow that.
Yeah. Well, the whole purpose.
Aware.
So. You can't teach jiu-jitsu in a 60-second video.
No.
You can't teach a technique in a 60-second video.
No.
Unless someone's been training a long time, so then they look at something, they go, okay, I know how to do that.
Right.
Right? Like, I can look at a lot of techniques. You can look at a lot of techniques. Yeah. Guys who've been training for a while can look at a lot of techniques and probably hit it within the first couple and add it to their repertoire. Because it's just mat time and
Yeah.
training time. That's not my goal. My goal is just to show officers that don't train. Hey, you don't train, but guess what? If you do train, you'll learn this, and you'll train it, and you'll do enough repetitions to where you can hit this on a live subject. Because you'll be practicing hitting it on people who are fighting you in class, in training. And then if you get a live subject, you're already been there, and it's gonna be natural for you to hit these these techniques. That's my point. It's just hey man, you gotta. This is what you could do if you train all the time. So get your ass in the gym and start training.
And I think you can do that. But I think like with this guy is you pop something fresh in his head that he probably already knew.
Right.
But because it was fresh in his head and he saw it, then it's something he just naturally.
And I've gotten a couple like that before with the some guys. Hey man, never thought about the wrist lock. In that situation, man, I had this guy fighting, I hit a wrist lock, boom, immediate compliance.
Yeah.
So it's it's those are really, man, those are huge.
Yeah.
Like, those are huge when you get those. And so I was talking to my other friend, the one I was telling you about, and I was like, these fucking trolls, man. And he's like, dude, you just gotta stop looking at that. Don't look at the trolls, because the more that you start getting people following you, and the more you start pushing this stuff out there, the more those guys are gonna pop up, and they're just gonna try to shit on you. Yeah. That's just what some people do.
You just have to learn, and everybody fails at this at some point in time, including myself. You have to learn that when the trolls hit, either instantly delete, block, ignore, whatever the thing is. Just you can't even read the whole comment. You can't take it personally. You can't anything. It's just people being assholes.
I thought about what to do on that. Like I thought about just deleting them or blocking them, and I don't. I leave them there.
Yeah.
I want people to see who they are, and I want them to see the ridiculous comment, and I don't want someone to think that, oh, I can't handle you saying something critical, right? Yeah. Now I've had people ask legitimate questions, and I'll respond to them.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to say something stupid, I'll just leave it there, because I know I have enough people following that'll look at it. First, if it's insulting to police officers, which I've had that a couple times. I'm surprised I don't get it a lot more. Boom, guys will hit them up immediately. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you're going to be insulting police officers, just get the fuck out of here. And then if guys say something that's kind of dumb, like on this purple belt trying to disguise his criticism with a little bit of positivity and then tell me I'm overconfident, I'm like, okay, purple belt. And then another black belt went in and said, shut your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Go back to training, And anyway.
So stuff like, and I mean, because my policy, a lot of people know this, I have a 2-strike policy. The first one, just leave it there. Let other people deal with it. I won't give it any energy.
Right.
Done with you, all that kind of stuff. Just leave it. And I'm like that. They do something again, fuck, he just deletes you.
I think it's a good move. If someone's going to be repetitive, if someone's going to be an annoyance, then okay, now you're going to get blocked. If you're going to leave a stupid comment, I'm going to leave it there just so people can see it. Yeah. But I agree. If it becomes an annoyance, or someone's consistently insulting cops or whatever, I'm just gonna block you at that point.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of being like, oh, I don't want other people's opinions. I just don't want trolls.
Exactly.
I'm cool with counter opinions. I'm cool with debate. I'm cool with all those things. But if you just be an asshole, fuck it, you're out of here. Yeah. I can't even deal with that. Yeah.
It's a fact of life, though, man. I'm learning about it.
Worse and worse.
That's for sure. But it's okay. It's okay. It's worth
picture. No, we only got a couple minutes, but the damn picture I posted just doing the curls. I just like to do that once in a while.
Yeah. Right? How you get trolled on that? Because someone say you did the wrong form?
Because I said natural.
Oh, well, that's impossible.
Fuck, you're gonna do it shit natural. You fucking liar. Why do you want to lie to people? Why do you want to mislead people? Why do you want the fuck? Dude, I've never had a drink in my life.
Those are the true haters right there, man.
It's so bad, dude.
And so I think it's gonna be worse with like bodybuilders. It's got to be worse because the hate for people who can't look like that and they want to, or maybe they secretly want to, but they say they don't, and so they see that and it's steroids.
Yeah, so
steroids.
Oh please, like, get out of here! But
even like steroids. Hey, you know what, asshole? Even if he is using steroids, not you, but like if a bodybuilder, that's still a ton of shit of work he put in to get there. So whatever, he's fucking. That's something you're not going to accomplish unless you change your fucking mindset.
And they're like, oh, you dumb. And even a couple before that, where I was walking out with Dehan and his Longhorn stuff with the stripes. People DMing me trying to give me shit about that.
Like his Longhorn stuff?
Yeah.
Like
why would
what?
you dress your kid in that? That's dumb shit. You stupid mother. Like, dude.
People can be so hateful.
And I'm like, he's fucking 2 years old. He's cute as shit. That's awesome. Like, get out of here.
That's an automatic block. If you say something shitty about my kids, I'm not. You're done. Like, I'm not. Like, get the fuck out of my life. Because that's, you can't insult my children. You can insult me.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll let it sit for once or twice, but I'm not talking about my children. Yeah. Like, what's wrong with you? You got some screws loose.
Yeah, all kind of crazy shit like that.
Man.
And, I posted a burger picture, a couple different times. Because I went a few days where I was like, burger.
Look, man.
Loving it, man.
He eats. He took me out to eat one time, and he ate a whole plate of nachos. And I looked at him like, no. And I'm eating, like, I don't even know. I was eating, like, chicken. And I'm like, this asshole, he just... nothing and still shredded. This is all hard work. You already know. I know that just because I know. But I was still watching like, man, nachos, really? I thought y'all was gonna come in and you're gonna have like your perfect little grilled chicken and like just a little tiny portion of rice for your carbs, and then you're gonna have your greens right here, and then you're gonna have your kale shake right there. Hell no. There's a big pile of nachos. And I'm like, here's my chicken. I was like, man.
I did. It was all a very uniform, perfect plate of nachos.
Oh, it was.
I had vegetables.
It looked amazing.
Yeah, on there.
Vegetables.
And I
had lettuce and beans and cheese and jalapenos.
All the food groups on a plate.
Looked so good.
Oh, it was awesome.
It looked amazing.
Hell yeah.
Lucky
but with my burgers, people were like, why the fuck somebody want to look at your burgers? Bitch.
Like, don't fucking like it. Just scroll past. I don't know what to tell you.
Like, why people got to put the hate, man? But yeah, so
just keep scrolling, asshole.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Is what it is. I heard was real bad. Like, so I can't imagine somebody who's like super famous, right? Like,
I wouldn't want it.
Like with Twitter and stuff. Like Twitter's real bad. I think I was listening to a Rogan podcast one time, and he had Sam Harris on, and I guess Sam Harris can't help but look at his mentions on Twitter.
Yeah.
So you got to imagine this guy gets a lot because he's very well known.
And controversial.
And he's controversial. Yeah. And apparently, so you can imagine his mentions have got to be... he had his stop looking at... I think he shut down his Twitter or stopped looking at Twitter. He took he made himself like sit off of it for 30 days or something.
Yeah, he didn't shut it down. He just didn't...
Yeah, he just stayed off of it 30 days because it was... Like even Rogan was talking one time. He's on his phone half the time checking his Twitter mentions. And Rogan's like, hey, you got to... Bro, like, put it away because you're going to kill yourself because he couldn't take... He hated all the negativity and he was driving him nuts. He felt the need to deal with it.
Well, like somebody would say something but it would be correct. He's like, I'm okay if you disagree with me, but it's got to be correct.
Yeah.
And so that's not correct. Like
most of the time, it's probably not going to be correct. Yeah. I mean,
it's Twitter trolls, man.
Yeah, they're just fucking with you. Or they're just trying to get a response, or they're just haters, and so they just want to say something shitty. And
they're good, man.
Man, I can't imagine someone like that. Like if you go look, sometimes I like to go look at a famous person's page just to see the comments they get. If they post it, like if I see Rogan post, like when he goes out hunting, post a kill or something, I like to go look just to see the shit, because just to see some of the shitty ones. Yeah. There's a lot of he gets a lot of positive, but you see the shitty ones pop in, and other people too. I'll go look. Let's see the comments. I like to look at the comments just to see if what people say shitty stuff, because it's interesting to me. Man, it's there's a lot. I think there's a lot of people who are very unhappy in their lives, and so they get pleasure out of doing that. They get that momentary bump of pleasure. And
I do believe more often than not, it's like you had said earlier, somebody just wants a reaction.
Yeah.
That may not even be them. Does that make sense? I mean, it's them, but that may not be them as who they are as a person. But they're like something nasty, just like maybe they'll get a response.
What if we had like on our like we had a rating on our social media. Like we had a rating on our Twitter. We had a rating on our Instagram. We had a rating on our Facebook based on our comments.
Yeah, they're trying to do that.
They should, like with a number. Like if you post a lot of shitty comments, you get like some type of number which represents you're a shitty person.
Well, the reason it's not instituted yet is they don't have a way to control the mob.
The mob.
So for example, the mob. All the like. So if you post something conservative,
right?
There's nothing to stop a group of 200 liberals from going on and giving you negative marks. So now your rating is shit.
Well, I think...
Does that make sense? There's nothing to control
that
right
I think what there's got to be some way of of like giving your rating. If you're leaving negative comments on people's stuff constantly and you're giving people negative ratings and you're giving, that should reflect on you as well. Because like because honestly, you should not be giving people negative ratings on a regular basis. Like I can't think of a time I've really wasted my time doing that.
Right.
I'm always, hey, if I give someone something positive, it's almost always something positive. I very rarely waste my energy on
But that's how they
dumping negative energy on somebody.
The groups get together. I'm right and left and everybody.
Well, so like, man, I can't believe we didn't really bring it up, but I know we're at the end of it, man. Well, maybe we talk about it next time. But Alex Jones.
Yeah.
That whole banana stuff, right? And he's a nut.
He's yeah. Let's lay that out before
he's a nut.
He's a nutty guy.
He's a nut. He says stuff that's sometimes I think is irresponsible.
Yes.
For sure, but I think it's for entertainment. I think you have to understand he's entertainment. Even though he says he's being serious, it's entertainment. Bro. He's not. I don't think he's being serious most of the time.
No.
But he's for entertainment. But he's a nut. But man, to get banned, to have all your content removed by YouTube, everybody but Twitter.
But Twitter, yeah.
And Twitter kind of took a stand and said, no, we're not going to remove his content. You know, we don't believe in hate speech, whatever. But seeing the whole thing with that hate speech deal, where the issue is, all these platforms are kind of run by liberal people.
Most are, right.
And so the only people really getting censored or having content pulled or demonetized or whatever is conservatives, or their content disappears for a short period of time. It's conservatives.
Well, the short thing on me, without getting all Alex Jones stuff specifically, is it is in some regards attack on the First Amendment because there's not equal enforcement of whatever this community standard and policy is, which is massively ambiguous anyway. You can't make hate speech. What's hate speech?
It depends on who you're asking.
You cannot offend the community.
What's the community? You can't. Well, so if you go up to Canada, it's gotten so extreme where you can't even, when Jordan Peterson dealt with all that nuts, where you can't even criticize the use of pronouns, of excessive pronouns, instead of just, two genders thing. If you criticize, now it's a violation of the law. Right. You could be fined and thrown in jail. Like your speech is being made a violation of law if you say things wrong.
If you call someone the wrong pronoun.
Yeah, that's a violation of law. You violated that person's rights.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's nuts, man.
Right. So it's because we kind of talked about it a little bit, what to do with that on these platforms, how to enforce things equally, but I just don't like the government getting involved.
I think if they're not careful, because our government is becoming more conservative, as we're witnessing, right? Just through elections and as a trend.
We'll see.
So they have control. We'll see
this election cycle, because we don't know. There's some questions now popping up.
And that if a conservative president is elected next time, being Trump or somebody else, then the Supreme Court set for, we're going to have a 7-2. In the sense of a conservative deal for
Ginsburg is holding on with everything she has. So, she's holding on.
And so my deal is this: is if the YouTubes of the world, which are not mine, but YouTube and Facebook, if they're not careful, they're going to get hit with an antitrust lawsuit.
Well, I think lawsuits are a danger to them.
Yeah.
Like, I think Alex Jones has a lawsuit.
Yeah.
I think he's going to sue.
If he hasn't, I've saw the rumbles
it's
that
going
it's
to
going to happen.
There's no question it's going to happen. He has grounds to sue.
Yeah.
And but the other issue is we always assume these platforms are so unbeatable or irreplaceable. Come on, remember Alta Vista, remember Yahoo search engine before Google. Look, they're replaceable. They will lose their space. Somebody else will come along and offer a service that's a little better, and people will go to.
Yeah.
And I think these companies lose sight of that. You can be beaten. Someone can replace your product. If someone offers a little bit better product than what you're providing, people will go to it.
Well, and right now they have the ability to buy them up and scoop them up and to do these things right now. You got to think you hit them with an antitrust lawsuit and they don't have the money to buy up the next one, then they're done.
Yeah.
Done.
So it's going to happen. If they keep going this route, they'll lose.
Yeah.
They'll lose. And it's the nature of our system. And no matter what, it's going to happen. Something else is going to pop up that everybody loves. Yeah. And you'll see, MySpace. You'll see that Facebook is going to go the way of MySpace one day. I really believe it, and we'll be using something else, something better, something more interactive, something that we enjoy more. Yeah. It's going to happen, I believe.
Yeah,
it always does.
Yeah,
it always
technology.
Does.
It's going.
So
to.
I think what they're doing is gonna hurt them in the long run.
Yeah.
They don't feel like it. They feel very powerful and strong and that they can do this, but I think they're wrong.
Yeah. They haven't been hit yet, but I think they're.
It's gonna happen.
I don't know if it's
this
gonna be
Alex Jones doing.
That's gonna be a big one. He's got
gonna
a lot of
test
followers.
a lot of stuff.
He's got a lot of followers, man.
He's got a shit ton of followers.
And then they're not pleasant.
No.
they're not
rabid.
quiet.
They're very engaged with him.
And
yeah,
they just stirred the pot.
I think this is going to be I think they're going to lose. They're going to lose because he has a legit argument that you can't ban my speech.
Right.
Because there's too many examples. Hell, they were letting ISIS videos on.
I know.
For the longest time. Like, how are you gonna? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go through and they start combing through this stuff, well, okay, you banned him. How are you not banning these people?
Right.
How are you not banning these
people?
That's
what it'll go to.
That's exactly what's going to go to.
And then it's going to go to regulations.
Yeah.
Then
I don't know.
They're going to screw the pooch for everybody if they don't fix this shit.
I think it's screw the pooch for themselves.
Yeah,
is what they're going to do.
For themselves.
I think is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think freedom of speech wins out in the end. We've always been pretty good about protecting it. We very rarely abridged it. Like, you go back to World War I and some of those things when we made it against the law to speak out against the war, and they were throwing people in jail and fining them left and right, and FDR with the crazy bullshit that they were pulling off, trying to do the New Deal stuff, which we're still dealing with actually. But I think freedom of speech we almost never touch freedom of speech. Like it's like one of those sacred. It's as powerful as the Second Amendment. It's
maybe more powerful
because Second Amendment's getting eroded in a lot of places. But our freedom of speech, we're pretty good about protecting it. I think
usually this is the greatest threat so far.
Yeah,
right now
there's been some because it's funny because it's like the corporatization of it, right? Yeah. They're controlling the speech. Like their platforms are controlling people's speech.
I know.
So you bring up a good point about where does the government have a place in that to protect speech. Anytime government gets involved, it makes me nervous.
Because I agree with you because government's inefficient.
Especially
it's
in
all
speech.
But I'm just like, social media is brand new to this world. Be real. Look, no, it's been around. Shut up. It's brand new. It's been here for a blink. And then so my whole thing, and I commented on this with you, it is a different entity. So it's people, that's how people voice, that's how they use their speech.
Yeah.
They're using their speech. And I'm cool with saying you can't come out and there's certain things you can and can't do to some level. I agree. Like hate speech. But I'm good. Let's not have hate speech, but let's define what that is. Let's set those parameters. Let's be specific.
Yeah.
Offensive language or offensive post or offensive content. Okay, I'm cool with that, but let's make a very concise definition of what offensive is.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you shouldn't be able to go and broadcast porn over YouTube and claim First Amendment.
I think I think we've had I don't think this is a problem until recently. I think we knew it. We didn't have a problem with hate speech. If you want to sound like a jackass, go ahead.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Shut yourself down.
Yeah, people are going to recognize you for being a jackass.
Yeah.
Why are we so fearful of someone spewing Nazi hate? Right. We've never been fearful of that because it's not like it's going to catch. It's not like people are going to go, wow,
it exposes
he's speaking
them.
some truth. Yes, it exposes them. We've seen what that is. And as a society and as a group of people, we know it's horrid and we don't want anything to do with it. But you shut it down, now it's no one hears it. And so when they hear it, you know.
Maybe they don't take it seriously.
I don't know. Like nothing as ever good has come from shutting down speech.
Right.
And then where do you stop? So now it's okay. So since we're shutting down hate speech, we got to define it. How do you define hate speech? That's why I don't think you should shut any of it down.
Right.
There's some limits. You can't, you cannot promote injuring or killing people, stuff like that. Those things, right? Inciting violence against others and property. Those, which has always been that way. That's common sense. You can't allow people to incite violence. That should be the limit, right? In my opinion, that should be the limit. But anything else should be free to go. You want to sound like an asshole on YouTube?
I think they should promote it. Put that crap on the top of the thing.
Let them see it.
That's what I'm saying. Like if it's something that's really
because you go, wow, this guy's an asshole.
The quickest way to shut an idiot down is to put that shit on #1 on the Google rank.
I agree 100%. But
it's
we're in a weird time. We're in a weird time. I don't know. I don't understand where we're at. Like I don't understand our This opposition to freedom of thought and freedom of speech, I don't understand it.
I think it all boils down to a very simple concept of we are not teaching people at a base level it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
They don't. So then when they get into college and they get up, they've never been disagreed with. It's affirmation, 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 all the way through. And then they get into college or they get right out of college or whatever, straight into trade school. And they're like, wait a second, somebody didn't have my opinion? They don't know what to do.
Right. And college is really the first time most people experience that.
Yeah. And then so then they band together because there's a big group of people always because, you know, they don't know what to do because there's somebody's opposing them. So that draws this group together. Well, now they have a louder voice than that. So then they go and attack them and boom. And then they're like, oh, we can't have that. So then they get a bigger group and you just start this fucking parlay back and forth. And
I don't know, man.
It gets nasty.
It's I don't know. Interesting times. I'm a little nervous about it. I feel like hopefully things will work out in the long run, but it's just a weirdness. I don't know that we've had an experience where people are wanting to shut down
free speech. That's crazy.
Yeah, like it's like, you know, words of violence.
Like,
what?
Excuse me?
Because I think differently than you. That's a violent thing, but that's, you know, I don't know. Someone said, I saw someone, you know, we're seeing this is really the fruits of a lot of the 60s radicals who, a lot of those guys became professors in colleges and spread that out. And we're dealing with it a little bit because that's what's being taught. And that's the kind of young people that are coming out now who also went in to become professors. And so maybe, I don't know how true that is, but, you know, I think there could be some truth in there.
Truth to that.
I think there's some truth in there because this is some of the stuff that those people were spouting, shutting, you know, speech is violence and shut down the right. And, you know, I don't know.
No joke, man. All right.
Anyway.
Yeah, we got to wrap, man.
I know we got stuff to do.
So like, both of us. So we've actually got a bunch of guests coming up.
Sunday.
Yeah, so Sunday, Brian's going to be on.
Yeah, Brian Marvin.
And Brian Marvin will be on, so we're going to harass him for a little while.
That's going to be awesome.
Probably put him in the middle.
Oh, he's such a man.
Make him feel
He'll choke us both out from there. Brian's a good, you know, I've known Brian a long time. He's obviously my professor. He's also a friend of mine, and he's a good dude. He's president of the We Defy Foundation, and so he'll talk to us about, you know, a lot of veteran issues, which is, because to you and I, that's a big deal too. Yeah. And I think everybody will like.
No, that's gonna be a good
some
one.
Brian Marvin stories.
And then we'll have Sam on again,
which is exciting.
Right around the corner.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Then Monday we'll have Jacob Rodriguez on.
Yeah.
So fresh off the Thai fight, he's well now.
I'm very excited about that.
So that'll be a good one. Yeah. And then I have the info. I got an author that wants to come on next week.
Fantastic.
All his books because the book just got published. So.
Oh, fantastic!
Stuff.
You got to send me the books.
Yeah.
Kind of peek into it, try to get some.
That's the whole. Yeah. I was
like, I gotta read some of this stuff or audio book it. Man, that's fantastic. That's exciting.
So we got a bunch of stuff coming up around the corner.
We're excited,
fun, man. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So you're gonna go choke people?
I'm going to go choke. Well, we'll try. I'm gonna try. I've been training pretty hard, so today may be more of a light day. But I'm going to choke somebody. Yeah. Somebody's getting choked. Hopefully, I don't get choked.
Kids walking in, just a quick little.
Oh, I'll choke a kid out. I don't give a shit. A lot of those kids need to be choked out. They're great kids, but you got to choke them out sometimes. You got to let them know who's boss.
Yeah. So we got it. So awesome. So thank you, everybody. This all will be available on YouTube in the next 10 minutes.
Fantastic.
It'll be processed. And then the audio stuff is going to be a lot later because I'm going to go eat some animals.
Do some stuff.
Eat some animals.
Well, tell them I said hi.
Yeah.
And looking forward to meeting them. So, sweet
awesome.
dreams.
So thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Peace. See you guys.